In some parts of Srinagar, for the fourth day in a row, families continue to be stranded on the roofs of their homes and water has been surrounding them nearly 10 feet high. Anger is seething now. Army vehicles have been pelted with stones in Tengpur. 4 Air Force helicopters carrying supplies could not land this morning at the helipad at the governor's residence after threats of stoning. On Monday evening, 2 rescue workers from the NDRF on a boat were reportedly attacked with sticks. Their boat was even punctured. Barkha Dutt joins me on the phone line. Barkha, we're hearing these horrific stories of people angry and frustrated now turning on the very people who are out to help them, who are there to rescue them. What is this about? Is this because of the fact that there are no communication lines and all communication is down?
Well, Sarah, here in Srinagar, the rescue teams are having to deal with a brand new and a very disheartening variable in their efforts to rescue people today. Let me first bring you the latest news in at least 2 different parts of Srinagar, one in an area called Tengpur and another in an area called Zero Bridge. Army vehicles and army rescue teams have actually been pelted with stones. Now you will understand that in keeping with the sensitivity of the situation, the army is not going to use any kind of force against aggressive crowds. So the army vehicles have actually been stuck over the last 1 hour at a couple of these places, not able to pass through. And they say that the crowds are angry because even those who are rescued, they've been without food and water for about 4 days, and they want those who are rescuing them to provide immediate medical relief, to provide food, to provide shelter, to provide help to the elderly, to provide help to the sick. But that is not the job, the army units say, of the rescue teams that are being sent in. That's a job that has to be picked up in the relay of responsibilities by either another unit or by the civil administration. Also, Sarah, what's very disturbing is that we are getting confirmed news now that near the Rambagh Bandh, spare army boats. Now, this is important to understand. The army travels with spare boats because, of course, boats could get damaged and they have to prepare for contingency. But the crowds were so angry that they have grabbed the army spare boats and kept them for themselves. And in fact, the army is saying that they do not know how these people will use the boats because they don't even have paddles. So this is the extent of anger. Much of the rage is definitely against the state administration. A number of people I am meeting here in Srinagar concede that the army is the only institution working on the ground. Their fiercest anger is reserved for the state administration, but they're also alleging that tourists and VIPs have been rescued before locals, and they're saying that they've had to count either on the army or on local volunteers asking where is the absent state government. So a very disturbing new variable, spare boats being captured by angry crowds and army vehicles coming under stone pelting in at least 2 different parts of Srinagar in the last 1 hour.
But Barkha, we're in a very crucial phase of these floods because now it's been a few days, the rains have stopped, but there are people still stuck without food and without water. The waters are receding, yes, but there's the fear of what illnesses could come up, and that's why it's extremely crucial that the army be able to up its game to go ahead with rescue operations on a war footing, which is why the timing is exceedingly crucial right now for this to happen, correct?
Absolutely, Sarah, you're absolutely right. Do remember that the good news is that the waters have receded and communication lines are back up in places. That's why I'm being able to talk to you right now. But the fact of the matter is that there's an estimated 4 lakh people at least who are still stranded. And even where people know that their loved ones, their near and dear ones are safe, there is the issue of, for example, a young man I met who told me my father is alive, but he's a diabetes patient. How will he get his insulin? There are people worried about their children. Hospitals, I met a doctor who says that hospitals have collapsed, medical services have collapsed. So, you know, this anger and frustration is a human response, but of course it's absolutely terrible that people should turn on the very men and women who've come to rescue them, who are risking their own lives to rescue them. This is a very, very disturbing variable in the rescue operations today.